Hello everyone. In this video, let's discuss how to get the input value using BufferedReader class. As usual, we'll start the program with the keyword import. So I'm going to import packages. So from the main package Java, I'm going to import IO package because BufferedReader class is present inside IO package. So I'm going to import IO package dot. See, I'm getting buffered input stream, buffered output stream, buffered reader, writer. There are n numbers of classes which is present inside IO package. So to get the input value using BufferedReader, I can give BufferedReader. Along with it, I have to give IOException class and input stream reader class. So instead of giving three different classes, I'm going to give star so that I can import all the classes to this particular program. Now let's give the class name. I'm going to give the class name as main. The execution always starts from the main method. So let's give the main method public static void main string args. Okay, fine. Now I'm going to get the input value using BufferedReader class. So let me create an object for that. So BufferedReader, that is a class name. BR, that is the object, is equal to new, which is going to allocate memory for the object. BufferedReader, fine. Inside the bracket, I have to give new input stream reader system.in. So I'll explain this step by step. Here we know that system.in. So it is used to get the input from the user via keyboard. Okay, because system is a class, in is an input stream where it is used to get the input from the user, where it is used to get the input via keyboard. So whatever the input I am going to get will be in the form of bytes only. So that bytes will be converted into character stream using input stream reader. So whatever the input I am going to give, that will be converted into character stream from byte stream. So it will be converted from byte stream to character stream. So after converting it into character stream, all these will be stored in the buffered memory, that is, will be stored in the temporary memory. So whatever the input I am going to give, that will be in the form of character. In the buffered memory, I will be having the last character as new line, because when I am giving the input value called hello, for example, HELLO, and when I give hello, the new line, because after giving the input I have to give, I'll press enter, so the new line will also be taken as the input. So when I'm giving this input, this system.in will get this in bytes. After getting in bytes, new input stream reader will convert into characters and it will be stored in the buffered memory. Now I'm going to store it in a variable. So string s is equal to br.readLine. So when I'm giving readLine, it reads HELLO. Whenever I'm getting new character, it stops reading. So the input hello will be stored in the variable called yes. After that, when I try to print yes, system.out.println, I'll just print yes now. Okay. Now I'm getting an error. Let me run the code once and then I'll tell you what is the error here. Okay, it is throwing an exception. So the exception is nothing but what if I am facing any error during the input or output. So we have to throw an exception. So here in the main method itself, I'll be throws IOException. That is why I was getting an error in readLine, because when giving input or getting output, what if I'm getting an error? So for that, the exception has to be handled. So here I have to give throws IOException. Let me run the code now. And let me get the input called hello. Yes, I have got the output value as hello. Here you have to remember one thing, whatever the input you are going to give, that will be stored in the form of string only. Okay, even though if I am giving an integer value, that will be stored in the form of integer only. But here I am storing it in string data type, string class. So it will be string only. So if I want to know whether it is a string, when I plus two strings, it concatenates, it will not add. See, when I give 5, it will give me 55 because it is concatenated. Plus is acting as a concatenation operator. Now I want to get an integer value. For that we have to typecast. Okay, so by default, if you are getting input value with the help of buffered reader, the input value will be stored in the form of string only. In case if you want to convert into other data types, you have to typecast. Now I want to get an integer value. So for that I will be taking a variable called a is equal to, okay, I have to typecast. So for that, integer dot parseInt. Integer dot parseInt. So the input I have got it and store it in a variable called s, and it is in the form of string data type. Now I need to convert into integer. I am typecasting and I am storing it in a variable called a. So here I'll print both s and a so that you can know the difference. Okay, let me save this. Let me run the code now. I'm going to give the input value as 5. When I give the input value as 5, when I print s plus s, it is stored in the form of string only. So it is concatenating 5, 5. And then I'm converting into an integer value and I'm storing it in a variable called a. When I try to give a plus a, it is converted as an integer and it is adding 2 values, that is 5 plus 5, 10. So whenever you are getting input value with the help of buffer reader, by default it stores the value in the form of string data type only, and it stores the memory in the buffered reader. So it works faster when compared with scanner class. When you are dealing with larger inputs, it is always advisable to get the input value with the help of buffered reader, not with scanner reader. When we are writing simple or small program like prime number Fibonacci, we will be habituated with scanner class so that it is easy to get the input values. But keep one thing in mind, buffered reader class is efficiency. Whenever you are getting larger input values, you have to go only with buffered reader class. Now I have converted into integer. What if I want to convert into a double? Okay, let's write the program for that. Okay, now I want to get an input value of type double. So I'll take string t is equal to br dot readLine double d equal to double dot parse double. So I have to typecast t. I'll print system.out.println. I'll print a first, integer value. I have to get double value, so I'll get d. That's all. Let's run the code now. First I'm giving integer value 5 and then I'm going to give double value. See, 5 and double value. I've got this. Here, if I want to get a float data type, I've got integer and double. Now I want to get a float value. So float f is equal to float dot parse float. So I'll get and then I'll give system dot out dot println f. Yes. Let me store the value and let me run the code for 3.2342. Yeah, I've got the float value also. In case if you want to get long, it should be long L is equal to long dot parse long. That's all. This is you have to get a long value. Similarly for boolean. So boolean b is equal to boolean dot parse boolean. Here, what if I want to get a character? What if I want to get a character? So character ch is equal to, directly you can get in character, br dot readLine dot caret of 0. So here you don't want to get it in string and then you have to convert it into this. Directly you can get it as a character. For example, I'm going to get a character called a, system.out.println, and I'm printing it here, ch. Let me run the code now. A, yes, I have got the character a. Because we are getting the input value of type string only by default, I want only the first character. So if I want to get the first character, index value is 0. So dot character of 0. Directly I can store it in the character. Okay, and here you can keep one more thing in mind to make it short. So int a is equal to, okay, so earlier if I want to get an integer value, I was getting a string by using readLine. Okay, after that I was typecasting int a equal to integer dot parse int of yes. So I'll print system dot out dot println a. Okay, let's run the code now. Sorry, this 5. Yeah, I have got the input value. Now I can make it short. Instead of making it 2 lines, I can make it short. I'll comment this. What I'm going to do is int a is equal to integer dot parse int. So instead of yes, in yes, what we are storing, BufferedReader we are storing. So directly you can do BufferedReader. Just the short form, that's it. So let me run the code now. See, I've got the output value. So to know whether it is an integer value or not, I'll just add those two values so that it will be easy for us to know. When I give 5, it is adding two numbers and it is giving me the output value called 10. Okay, that's all.